Okay, so hey everyone and welcome back. Now I decided to record this video today using my iPhone because I recorded a video the last time about the air signs and that was more of an audio thing to try something different because my camera, you know what, I'm just explaining all this when it's like, why do I feel the need to explain all this? Hi, today's video we're going to be talking about the fire signs. Yeah, after the air signs video, I really wanted to talk about the fire signs next. So let's start off with, well, who are the fire signs? Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So we'll look at Aries to begin with. Now, Aries is cardinal fire. So cardinal energy is about initiating, it's about drive. It's about being a leader. So cardinal signs are usually leader types of people. They're very good at asserting themselves, getting things set in motion. So when it comes to Aries being a fire sign, that is all about energy. It's all about creation, fire within astrology. Well, this makes for quite the creative, inspirational, assertive, innovative type of person. So it's this energy that really kickstarts off everything. It kickstarts the zodiac wheel, the astrological year. And so that energy, that momentum that's needed to really kick that off, it requires a lot. It requires a lot of a big push basically from Aries, and Aries certainly comes with that big push. So this is to show that push at the very beginning to set everything in motion. And what comes with that energy then for the Aries types of people are people who are usually very motivated and driven, and whatever they pick up or learn, it's like that's their passion. Especially when it comes to sports and things that involve the physical body for an Aries. You find Aries types, they will be very active, very sporty. They love to just move, right? Movement may just be really important. They may look at the world as like a playground, literally, where they look at the mountains, the trees, buildings, you know, like for example, that guy Tim Sheaf, he's an Aries and he's into parkour. So I think he's an athlete. And yeah, as I say, he's into parkour. He goes out into nature and he uses nature as his apparatus. And that's, sorry, there's just a car going past. Just wait for that to go past because it's quite loud. Yeah, so he is a prime example of an Aries, but overall, when it comes to sports and really using the body for Aries types of people, if they really feel that their heart is in it, they will give it their all. They will challenge themselves every day. They will set new personal best targets for themselves. Aries is all about reaching your personal best. Yes, it's connected also with competition in that way, because it's the whole survival of the fittest, because it's such an animalistic sign. It's very raw, real sign, but it's really about the personal best, so the individual. So being able to reach your targets, reach your goals each day, and doing better, a little bit better the next time, and constantly just like pushing, right? Just push, keep pushing, and achieving in that way, going further with it. And so I feel like Aries types of people, they're very good at wanting to strive and reach their targets, reach their goals. And that's a very admirable trait. And of course, it's something that we need within society in order to achieve anything. And we got to put in the energy. We got to assert ourselves into it if we want to put it in motion. I mean, we're not going to really get anywhere if we're just sitting around twiddling our thumbs and not doing anything. So that is the importance, I guess you could say, of Aries. But I think following on from that, going back to the whole animal side of it, this Aries energy showing us that animal survival part of us is so necessary. So for example, when it comes to sex, right? So Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars can show you your sex drive. It can show you how you express yourself in terms of sex. Well, the sun can also with that, but still, it's that primal like desire, that urge. So how we are made that way to procreate, to want to have sex with other people in order to continue the evolution of creation and so on and so forth. And so that is really important, of course. And therefore it's Aries that, well, Aries types of people, they can have pretty high sex drives. And they may, even when they're not taking part in sex and things like that, they may actually then assert that energy into something that feels more like really them, feels like they can actually contribute to something. So for example, if an Aries becomes part of a certain movement or an organization, then they may use that ball of energy and place it into that movement or organization. And because there's so much energy going into it that's about their outlook and how they see it, that's a great quality to bring in, because it shows a lot of passion on their part. It shows that they're going to show up every day, they're going to be there, they're going to assert themselves constantly. But then at the same time, they can also become quite tunnel visioned and blocked from the bigger picture, because they're so focused and so like just going towards that target and reaching that target and being consumed almost by that thing that they're so passionate about. So in a way, yes, the amount of energy that they have to give can be a lot, but at the same time, of course, they need to be careful that they don't burn themselves out, because what often can happen with Aries is that they can push and push and push and push until, of course, they can't push anymore. And we can all naturally experience that in life, where we're just doing so much and we're not really reflecting or taking the time for ourselves. And Aries can struggle with that a little bit, with the whole self-reflection. They can be very much about, oh, this is me and this is what I want to give outwardly and I want to do this thing, I want to go here. But to actually absorb that information or absorb what's going on around them, it's just they don't think about it so much. They can just find something and just go. This is the thing I want to do, right, go. You know, not really think about, well, do I have the money? Do I have the means? Do I have the resources? Where will it get me in the long run? Who am I impacting with this action, this project that I'm starting? And that in a way is really good, because it shows that, you know, they can be courageous enough to want to start something without even thinking about it. Like, that takes a lot of guts, you know? Like, for example, I'm just going to say an example from my own life. I have an Aries moon, and years ago when I moved to Australia, I only went with £1,000 in my bank account. I didn't have a job. I went there, and my ex-partner at the time was living somewhere that he wasn't exactly being honest about where he was living. So anyways, I just had to initiate new things. I just had to say, no, I'm not living in this place. I want to get a place where I feel comfortable, where it feels right. So I switched that. I got that place, and then I was like, right, okay, very little money in the bank account. Australia is not cheap. Australia is so much more expensive than where I'm from, which is from Northern Ireland. So I decided to get a job, and I just initiated that plan. So the point is that often Aries may not think things through, and they can be quite careless and reckless in making decisions, which I have done my fair share of throughout my life with my Aries energy, that's for sure. But it's still that courage, it's still that ability to say, oh well, I'm doing it anyway. You know, it's, you know, even that trust, having that trust that all will work out, even if you make a decision and you land flat on your face, that yeah, it'll work out some way, somehow. You can build yourself back up again, and then you can learn, right? You know, when it comes to learning and progressing throughout life, through experiences, we have to make mistakes. We have to be willing to make mistakes. And Aries types of people, they make plenty of mistakes. But it's those plenty of mistakes that may come from not really, like I said, reflecting on what they're taking in from the outer environment. But yeah, it can be their power. It can be something that actually really helps them through life as well. Aries types of people can also be very intuitive in that way, because of how, I suppose, survival, you know, instinct. So it's very instinctive, and it's almost like they just get a gut feeling about something, like it's there. But that gut feeling is so quick, it's such a spark that it's gone. So yes, they can have a great instinct, and they can be quite intuitive, but it's just that that gut feeling can come and go so quickly that it can be hard to catch. So it's trying to sort of catch that instinct in the beginning for the Aries, and that can be difficult, of course, given that, you know, the way society is evolving over years is like we're becoming out of touch almost with our natural instincts, which are kind of like, you know, could be good, could be bad. Maybe we're not really following our own gut feelings as much as we used to back then because we are so within our own minds, and there's all of these other developments that have come to be over so many years, and yeah, you can get caught up so much in all of that. And this actually leads me on to something else I want to talk about with Aries is so when it comes to astrology, there is the evolution process. So it goes from Aries to Pisces, and so this could suggest that the evolution is that, oh well, for example, a Gemini is going to be more evolved than the Aries, or Libra is going to be more evolved than the Aries, and Pisces especially is going to be more evolved than anybody. So we can kind of get into these sort of like evolution ego trips, I think, when it comes to astrology in terms of how it all evolves. And that's something I want to address, because just because Aries is the first sign, you may look at it as immature or childish in that it, I mean, what is Aries? I mean, they're just fools, right, in that way. But yet it's that childish fool nature, immature nature, that is also their specialty and their power, and something that every other sign can learn from Aries. Like every sign can learn something from the other sign, and Pisces would not be Pisces if not for Aries. Like Aquarius would not be Aquarius if not with Libra. And that's just something I feel comes of astrology in terms of compartmentalizing things and thinking that because you're on a later stage with your sun sign that you're more evolved than, for example, an Aquarius sun to the Taurus sun. And yeah, I just want to kind of elaborate on that a little bit, because it can be easy to sort of get caught up in that. And we all have every sign within our charts, even if it's intercepted. So try not to get so bogged down by that, or getting into those sort of power ego trips. Okay, so moving now on to the sign of Leo, because I have talked about Aries for quite a while. Right, so Leo is fixed fire, and fixed energy is all about sustainment. It's about sustaining that energy, holding it in its place. It's about really driving things to completion, finalizing things, and, you know, just getting those projects, the cardinal energy starts, and running them through to completion. So to have fixed fire, so fixed, sustaining your energy, fire, sustaining creation, sustaining life. So the importance of how, well, children, for example, children is the area of life that is ruled by Leo within astrology. It can, the fifth house can provide us with an indication to the type of children we may go on to have. But it's children, of course, that are about sustaining life, having children, procreating. So from Aries, you come from that sex drive, which is that instinctive urge to procreate and to have sex, and the hormones and everything that's just associated with that. But then the sun energy is almost like that creation, then that producing of that child, the producing of this individual, because also Leo is a very independent individual sign that's about, this is me, this is who I am. So this new creation that is brought into the world, and that new being then forms its own characteristics and its own personality. And that's another thing. Sun sign astrology is predominantly known throughout the world, and the sun rules Leo within astrology. So you know, when it comes to, for example, people who say I'm an Aquarius or I'm a Leo or I'm a Virgo, they're referring to their sun sign. So they're looking at the characteristics and personality traits associated with their sun sign mainly there. Of course, keeping in mind that they're not aware that there is this chart. A lot of people may not know that, but of course astrology is becoming more known, which is really cool, and so people may learn more about that. Though I digress. It's those characteristics and those personality traits that you can then sort of see emanating through you, like through your expression, through how you shine, through how you want to consciously be seen by other people, how you're going to feel good about being seen by other people in that way. So whenever people, this is why I think sun astrology is actually really cool too, because through the self-expression, then that's where you pick up a lot of a person and their characteristics and personality, because they're conscious of it. Then again, from the outside world, the observer perspective, they may be able to pick up on the things that that person doesn't know, that they're not aware of, which gets really interesting when it comes to astrology. Though still, this creation then through Leo, it shows that then how producing a newborn child, bringing them onto the planet, is a way of sustaining energy, sustaining life, continuing it on. And you find with Leo types that they can be quite childlike types of people. Same with Aries in that way, but with Aries they're more childlike in terms of they just do things without even thinking about it, and then they make a huge mistake or a pitfall, and then they look back and they're really like in a daze. What? I didn't even realize, I didn't even know, and literally they can have no idea about it, and it makes them quite childlike in that way, because you sort of look to the Aries and you think, you had no idea, did you? And the Aries like, sorry. But then with Leo childlike nature, it's more, oh, let's have fun, let's do something playful, I'm so excited, I'm going to this event, or I'm getting to enjoy my favorite beverage, or eat my favorite packet of crisps, or go to my favorite place ever. It can be that sort of giddiness, that enthusiasm that comes with being a child. So play and fun and pleasure and just being able to enjoy life, that's so important to Leo types. So when it comes to this childlike nature, Leo types can be so much in their own childlike qualities, where they just almost want to break out and just run around and just have as much fun as possible. But then you may find actually with adult Leos, well, adult Leos who have children, that may be perfect for them. Or if they have friends who, you know, or a partner who lets out these qualities in them, that may be perfect too. So you may find that if they have children, they may be very good at playing with them and interacting with their children. But you may also find that Leo types who are more in their adult years, who don't have children perhaps, they may, you know what, even if they do have children, okay, adult Leos, they may just look at the world as a bit bland and a bit blah. Like, why are we doing this? You know, can I not just go back to my youth when I got to play and have fun and stuff like that? Okay, there is a delivery truck backing up. So they may look at this whole adulting thing, adulthood thing, as such a, like, oh, do we have to do this? Really? We have to do this now? I have to finally be an adult? Like, what does that even mean? But they could also see the joy in that. They could also see the fun in that, the play in that too. So yeah, Leo types, they like to be able to express their childlike nature and play. But also just when it comes to creativity for childlike or Leo types of people, creativity may be really important to them. So being able to express themselves, having the platform to do so without judgment, without people trying to sort of block out what their opinion is or what they think. They just really want to come from a space of, this is me and this is what I want to share, and you can share your opinions and stuff about it, but at the same time, this is my opinion, this is from my experience, this is what I went through. It can just be a very me, like my experience. They don't necessarily want to share their experience as a way to tell other people how to live their lives. They just want to share their experience because it's their experience. And I think what comes from them doing that is a lot of people may look to the Leo and kind of see just how real or authentic they seem in that regard, and they may feel a certain way towards it, and then that person may feel inspired to want to share their experience as well. And so yeah, people can be inspired and driven to want to express themselves creatively because they saw that the Leo did it, or because there's something that they had the courage to do, to bring forward, that maybe other people hadn't done. And so it can create like this, how you say it, because other people may be thinking about something, well, then by the Leo expressing that something, it can then bring what that person was thinking about to their awareness, and then they can finally catch on, and then they can finally do it. Like, right, okay, I'm just gonna do it, right, fine, yeah. Like, Leo's so excited about this thing and says to try this thing, or how much they enjoy this thing, so I want to go and I want to do this thing too. And so it creates a lot of excitement in other people, and they can be very good at igniting that joy in other people, and it can make them really well liked in that way too. But still, with creativity, you find that Leo types need a creative outlet in some way. Whether that be through writing, whether that be through art, whether that be through vlogging and videos, or whether that be through songwriting, something like that. Just any way to be creative, playing instruments even, singing, even if it's just singing around the house or singing in the shower, or even if that's having a child and attending to that child and loving that child with everything in them, you know? That creativity, however that's expressed, it's really important to a Leo. And I think that something that is very powerful about Leo is really this importance of validating yourself, because when we really look at the world today, it is full of validation, right? I'm even recording this video right now, and there is validation involved because there's going to be comments of people with their opinions and their views of this video today. There's the like and the dislikes. So if someone was to give me like 10 dislikes, I probably would feel a bit like, why? What did I do? What's wrong with me? And it could set me into the spiral of just self-doubt and pity, you know? But then all of the likes, it's like, oh yeah, people love me, people are all about me, oh yeah, this is such a good feeling. And you can't deny that, yeah, the likes are going to be things that make you feel good, but the dislikes are going to be things that make you think, what did I do? What did I say? Is there something wrong with me? And you find with Leo types that they can sort of fluctuate between that because of that validation. Now, of course, you can get Leo types who feel they can come from a place of, I don't need anybody else's opinions. I don't let other people's opinions define me or validate me. But those types of Leos may have come to that realization from the past of whenever they were in a state of depending on validation, where it just led to them feeling more less than, and then they realized that actually they had the strength in themselves to overcome that. So you can find that with certain Leos, but at the same time, you can also get the certain Leos who may proclaim that they don't care about validation and they don't care about the opinions of others, but yet they complain about things that others say. You know, it's like, oh, I don't care what you think of me, or I'm so secure in myself. But the minute that another person says something to disagree with what they say, or something towards them that they take personal, or they take it to heart, they can be very open about expressing that and sharing that. And so it can kind of get into this, well, you know, you're saying this, but then do you really feel that way? And from an outsider's perspective, you can look to the Leo and you can kind of question, well, what is it then? Okay, so you claim to be so self-loving towards you, but yet you're letting the outside world and all these other opinions get to you in such a personal level. So I think that what comes with that is everyone, I suppose, because learning the lessons from the Leo energy, everyone's sort of learning how to take whatever opinion anybody says and not let it define you, only if you want it to necessarily define you, if you know what I mean. So if it is that there's another opinion that someone brings in about what you create, well, how do you reflect on that opinion, and does it get to you on a personal level? Or is it something you're actually going to ignore when that opinion could actually be really beneficial for you? So it could go so many ways when it comes to validation, because we do, like, I believe that validation is important and it's good to be validated by other people, because at the end of the day, we would not be who we are without others. Like, we need other people to live. We need other people to survive. Therefore, to be validated by other people is important, I believe. Now, of course, that can be detrimental, where we can depend on people to validate us, and we might not want to get into those territories, but that can come into that dependency, and then that can lead into doubt, and it can spiral into just negativity, or where we're just so clinging on to what others think of us, how they approve of us. But maybe trying to discern it more for ourselves, and trying to, well, think about, well, how it is we would like to be validated, or if it is that we want to create something and we bring it forward, well, what is the opinion of yourself towards it, first and foremost, really. Another thing I would like to mention with Leos is dating and romance. So Leo rules over the 5th house, and this is the area of dating and romance. And you find with Leo types that they may not go without a partner for very long. They may feel this pull towards wanting to date and just have someone there and to be able to spend time with, to be able to embrace, enjoy, to indulge in life with, to seek pleasure with. So Leos, they can be really passionate lovers in that way, or they can be lovers that just really want to create that hearth with someone, or that proper loving bond with someone where their heart is in it, their heart's in it, and the partner's heart's in it, and they're loyal to each other, and they're in it strong. And so I find with Leo types that they really do embrace their relationships, or their romantic relationships in that way. And even if the Leo is not in a committed relationship, well, if they decide that they want to be with different people at the same time, you can find that with Leo types, especially if they've got the Leo rising with Aquarius on the 7th. They may want to be able to, you know, kind of have their options open in that way. Even if they are dating a few people at once, then still, it has to be fun, it has to be playful. They want to get a lot of just energy from that, just to keep their energy levels just sustained, keep them going and feeling really good. And that's why I find with Leos, whenever they can be quite sad or more down, they can be quite hard on themselves, I think, maybe because they feel like they need to constantly be on this momentum of feeling good, or like life shouldn't be enjoyed. Life is about enjoyment and pleasure. So in those times when it's not so enjoyable or pleasurable, they may just get a bit, you know, start to think that all is wrong and therefore it's just the worst thing ever. So it's just important for them to learn how to pick themselves back up from that. Alright, so lastly, let's talk about Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is mutable fire. So mutable energy is adaptable, it's flexible, it's changeable. Mutable. Mutable. Okay, so adapting your creation, adapting your energy, being flexible with your creation, being flexible with your energy. Now, this is really interesting because, right, Sagittarius is kind of stereotypically known for being the sign that is the most less restricted, the most free, I guess. So they don't like to be restrained, they don't like to be locked down into any certain thing. So when it comes to relationships, they can be known, especially Venus in Sagittarius this way, but they can be known for just being in it but not in it. Like, one foot out the door, one foot in the door. They're not going to be controlled. No one's going to tame the Sagittarius, okay? This Miley Cyrus song, she's a Sagittarius. They can't be tamed. They can be wild. Like, when it comes to all the fire signs, I'm starting to realize that it's Sagittarius that's the most wild. Is the most crazy, okay? Because, like, mutable fire, spreading your energy, spreading your creativity, and also not apologizing for it either. It's just like, yep, I don't have to answer to anybody because I am my own person and life is free. I am free, okay? I am a free bird. Yeah, I realize Sagittarius types could just go over the top. Like, they're ruled by Jupiter, so this planet is just growth and expansion and there's no limits. So Sagittarius types can almost feel like they're limitless. Of course, they know that they're not because we are confined within this physical world, but it's just that they feel like they maybe are, or maybe they're not aware that they feel like they are, because the actions that they take kind of present this image that they just don't care, that they can't be tamed, that they will do their own thing and not have to worry about the consequences or not have to take responsibility for things afterwards. Now, of course, you find this with Sagittarius types who are maybe a bit more on the reckless side, or who are maybe a bit more immature, or who haven't really developed a lot of sense of self-awareness in their own actions. So these types of Sagittarians, they can make really risky decisions. They can gamble. They can make certain gambles on things in life that yes, that gamble can create a huge problem for them, but again, similar to Aries in that way, very similar. Somehow, some way, just they're good. They find their way again and they're able to, right, so making these mistakes, learning from their lessons and continuing on. Now, not every person, of course, is gonna learn from their mistakes, and this goes across all of the zodiac signs, of course. So when it comes to Sagittarius, you can get Sagittarius types who just, they overindulge in the drink. They overindulge in things that take them away from having to actually stick at something for a long period of time. They may just find it really hard to meet an end goal that's longer by nature, because that mutable fire, it just wants to take this thing and that thing and just bite off more than it can chew, really, for the Sagittarius. Now, you can also get Sagittarius types who are highly philosophical, and the thing is that Sagittarius is quite a spiritual sort of sign, but it's also quite a philosophical sign where they are able to think in more abstract ways. So you can have a really deep intellectual conversation with a Sagittarius, and through that conversation, they will share with you so much information. They will share what they've been learning, and then you can learn from that as well. And so you find that Sagittarians who are maybe not as reckless, or who have maybe made a few mistakes but now they're starting to learn the lessons from those mistakes, as they sort of develop or grow older, they more want to be like teachers, or they more want to be these intellectuals that are able to share what they know from their experiences. And people who learn from the Sagittarius about their experiences, they can look to the Sagittarius and really think like, wow, you're such a wise person. You've went through these things and you've learned these things, and you've come out of the other side of those things with just a deeper, higher perspective that you can then share with other people. And that person then absorbs that and can move forward with their life and sort of maybe think of a certain philosophy that the Sagittarius shared to them that they can also live by, which I think is pretty cool. So I'll give you an example, right? I have a friend and she's got a Sagittarius moon, and she always says, whatever's meant for you won't pass you. Or she'll say, everything happens for a reason. These are the two things she always says, and that's just such a Sagittarius moon thing to say. Yeah, so that is also something that I've learned from her in that way, where even now I think to myself, you know what, yeah, everything does happen for a reason. Okay, I noticed that, I can see that within my own life as well. But then also from this experience side of things, well, Sagittarius is all about the experience. It's all about stepping into these new territories and learning, really learning something from it and enjoying that experience in that moment. And even just wanting to find meaning even in the experience as well. But still, we learn from Sagittarius that experience is so important to how we live our lives. That, you know, you're not going to know if something is for you unless you have tried it. Or maybe you're not going to know what another person is going through unless you have experienced it yourself. So yes, Sagittarius types are all about experience. But then also there can be the side of Sagittarius that can be rather preachy towards other people because of what they believe in. So that's another thing, is Sagittarius is about our belief systems. It's about how we formulate our own belief in a higher power, in God, you know, a certain religion, like I said, a certain philosophy that we live by, that we believe in, these types of things. And so there can be the Sagittarius types who preach strongly their beliefs. They preach strongly their philosophy. They preach strongly the things that they're learning about. And it can come across as quite, you know, above, I guess you could say, in terms of intelligence over other people, because it's like, well, this is what I know. It can be quite a know-it-all sort of energy. Now, I'm not saying that they, well, to be fair, they can be rather dogmatic and quite set in on a certain belief, which can, you know, it can cloud their vision from seeing the bigger picture. Kind of similar with Aquarius in the last video. Kind of similar. Yeah, because Aquarius can grasp onto a certain ideology and go with that and then block themselves from the bigger picture. But then Sagittarius as well is a bigger picture orientated sign, but they can block themselves off from seeing that because they're so ingrained in this certain belief system that they have, in this certain religion, for example. I mean, there's certain Sagittarius types who are religious, who will just constantly preach that religion, and that's their choice, of course. That's completely up to them. That's what they believe in. But it's just that because of their strong wanting to preach that, again, similar with all the fire signs. It can make other people not connect very well with them, or where they maybe feel like they're not being listened to, or maybe it can come across as quite judgmental towards other people, you know? Then again, other people may get riled up by it and feel supportive for it and just, yeah, okay, right, this is what Sagittarius thinks and this is what they're preaching, and I see it, I can see the vision, Sagittarius, thank you for showing me, thank you for sharing your knowledge, I now want to go and continue this onward for the rest of the world to see. So yeah, there can be that judgmental, preachy, dogmatic energy that comes with Sagittarius, but there can also be that greedy, like really self-indulgent side that comes with a Sagittarius as well, where they may really overindulge in things, even though they may promise themselves like, no, not going to do it, and then they do it. I'm not drinking, just one, and it was like 10 drinks later. Good job, Sagittarius. Like they care though, right? Yeah, I just find with Sagittarius types that the world is just to be explored. New experiences and opportunities are to be explored, and so it can make them find it difficult to focus on things sometimes. But still, I really do love this side of Sagittarius that is so wise and does live through experience and shares their experience with an open-mindedness, and that open-mindedness can be such a strength to them, because then they can also learn from other people what they're sharing as well. Even though they may not believe in what they believe, they can still learn something from that other belief, because that is the power of opening your mind. And some people may argue and say that that's not very good, because when you have a super open mind, then it makes you vulnerable. But I also think that's where it comes in to have a strong mind too. So to keep your mind open, but to also keep it strong, that you can then discern for yourself from that information what you're taking in, if you want to step into that territory or you don't. So it's really all about choice at the end of the day, about what you perceive, what you learn, and how you want to take in from what you learn, how you live your life through that. And I also think that's another thing is how belief, what you believe in. So if you believe something and you preach it, right? So you preach the word about what you believe, or this is just sharing information. Well, to also live by that, it's to live by that belief within your life physically too. And I think there's such a power in that, that can come with Sagittarius energy, that when a Sagittarius person learns how to, for example, learn a new philosophy, but to also live it, to emanate that philosophy outwardly, to not just talk about it, but to actually be it. Not just share with a friend, this is what I think you should do, and but also for that Sagittarius to take their own advice in that way and to do that as well. So trying to align the thoughts with their action can be really beneficial. And I think it can help them actually keep on track with meeting certain goals and targets that they want to meet from doing that. So yeah, I think that's all I really want to talk about today. Talked about the fire signs, so Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius today. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know any other thoughts you want to share. I've definitely not covered everything. I could talk for a very long time about these signs, but I'm just going to cut it here. I hope you liked it, and I'll be back then with another video very, very soon. Bye.